Good Tuesday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by the Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution, and also in part by Xyway brand fungicide, where you get an unfair advantage. Always read and follow label directions. I'm Joe Everett reporting for today's Ag News. Well, currently 25 degrees outside here at the farm this morning, but it does look like the temperature raises up into the mid-30s. As we turn to the calendar, an open house for the complete liquidation of Wellman seeds will be held February 11th and 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Locations in Van Wert and Delphus, Ohio. For complete information, visit grainelevatorauction.com. Let's check in for an industry update from Keystone Cooperative. Here's Dale Minyo.
Joining me again, Kevin Still, President and CEO of Keystone Cooperative Incorporated. And Kevin, if I recall our previous conversations, we talked about $68 million in patronage refunds, and you also talked about some infrastructure developments because of the work you do with your customers and non-customers. Tell us what's the ideal plan for that infrastructure in the future?
Well, first of all, with the beauty of the co-op, where all of our income stays local. So we obviously invest in our employees. We invest in various assets. Our management's local. Our board, we're governed local. And whatever income we don't retain in our company, we give back to our members in the form of patronage. But the other part of that then is reinvesting. In this past year, we've invested over $100 million in assets to satisfy our customers. And really, as we think about that, it's really speed and capacity. So if you look at assets that are more on the Ohio side, we continue to evaluate our assets there and how we can address the speed and capacity. We have built a couple of new facilities over on the far eastern part of Indiana. One is a brand new 25,000-ton fertilizer hub. The other one is a brand new feed mill. So again, we're working our way towards Ohio. We're analyzing, and we know we have some opportunities there.
Kevin, again, the website for people who want to track this movement and see how long it's going to take to get to us is?
Keystone.com, KeystoneCoop.com.
KeystoneCoop.com. Kevin, thanks for the update. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dale, for the update. Well, farmers hit hard by USDA funding freeze. The USDA is withholding funds from farmers for conservation programs, despite the White House stating last week that funds to individuals would not be frozen. Contractors for conservation programs also have been affected by the funding freeze. The Iowa Soybean Association, for instance, cited in a letter to lawmakers that $11 million owed to farmers is at risk. Farmers are learning that conservation payments are frozen because those contracts were funded through the Inflation Reduction Act. Two federal judges over the past week have ruled that the Trump administration did not have the authority to block funding that was appropriated by Congress. Stay tuned. We'll be back with today's weather after this.
Nearly 90% of farmers say that financial worries, constantly changing market conditions, and other uncontrollable variables take a toll on their mental well-being. Add in the weather and family dynamics, well, it's a lot to handle alone. But did you know farmers and their families can receive free confidential services from licensed professionals? Support is available 24/7 to help with the challenges you face. Look for Farm Family Wellness Alliance under the Resources tab at farmfoundation.org. Take care of yourself. Your well-being matters.
Watch your step, Ohio. Winter weather is here. So let's keep your team from slipping on the job. Make sure to examine your work areas daily and clear hazards that could result in a potential fall. Hoses, cords, buckets, farm tools, and equipment can all pose a problem. As the days get darker, you'll want to replace any poor lighting, too. Keep walkways and entrance areas clear, dress for the weather, and stay safe and warm. This safety tip brought to you by the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Visit pwc.ohio.gov for more safety resources.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. Today's weather brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
We've got a weather system passing by to our south today that may give a little bit of moisture in Ohio and a lot of clouds. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio forecast update. Normally, we don't care too much about a system that's passing by to the south, especially when we're talking predominantly about moisture, Kentucky, Tennessee, and on into the deep south. But I'm mentioning this one because it is a precursor to a system that is really going to waylay us as we move from tomorrow night into Thursday. So today's weather system puts down some clouds cloud cover, I-70 southward, and I think we have to deal with a little bit of light precipitation, rain or wet snow in southern tier counties near the Ohio River. But I don't think it's a big deal statewide today. You get into the northern part of the state, probably can even see a little bit of sunshine from time to time. System number 2 is on the way tomorrow. Clouds thicken up statewide through the day. By the time we get close to sunset, we'll start to see some moisture pushing into Ohio. Rain first in many areas, and then rain will maybe try and mix with and change to snow in parts of the state. I'm looking mostly at northwest Ohio, where we can see some fairly significant snow potential through Thursday early morning. Right now, I think the rain is going to be anywhere from a tenth to probably 1 inch with coverage at 100% of the state. But that snow, that's the wild card in northwest Ohio. Could see several inches, I think, before everything's done Thursday early morning. Getting into the balance of Thursday, we turn out partly sunny. Friday, sunny and nice with high pressure here. It's chilly, but pleasant. And we get into the weekend. Saturday, rain and wet snow back for Saturday and early Sunday. Clouds to finish Sunday. And then next week, we've got another weather system of rain and wet snow at midweek, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, New York live poultry market shuttered due to the bird flu. All live poultry markets in New York City and Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk counties of New York were shut down Friday after 7 cases of avian flu were detected at markets in the 5 boroughs during routine inspections. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said during a public health briefing. The closure is in effect through at least February 14th. During that time, no poultry can be delivered and healthy birds must be sold, Hochul said. Markets must disinfect, remain closed for 5 days, and undergo state inspections before reopening. The governor said that the shutdown was out of an abundance of caution. The state reported no cases of bird flu in humans. Avian flu is on the rise around the country, mostly impacting animals. But 66 humans contracted the virus in the United States in 2024, and 1 person died, according to the New York State Department of Health. Well, U.S. pork exports eclipsed previous highs in both volume and value in 2024. December pork exports totaled 267,132 metric tons, slightly below last year's large volume, while value increased 1% to $771.8 million. The results pushed 2024 volume to 3.03 million tons, up 4% from the previous year, and topped the previous high set in 2020. Export values totaled $8.63 billion, 6% above 2023's record. Pork export efforts delivered a value of $66 per head of slaughter pork. December beef exports reached 119,171 million tons. That's 1.1% higher than the prior year, while value rose 4% to $897.6 million. Full-year beef exports were 1.29 million tons, down 0.5%, while value increased 5% to $10.45 billion. Market diversification delivered a value of $415 per fed head slaughtered for beef. USDA also says lamb exports trended higher than the previous year in both volume and value. In other notes, the Mexican government on Thursday repealed its ban on genetically modified corn imports from the U.S. after losing an arbitration ruling under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, in December of 2024. In a statement, the USDA commended Mexico's action, saying it safeguards approximately $5.6 billion in U.S. corn exports to Mexico. The USDA, in coordination with USTR, will continue to monitor Mexico's compliance with its USMCA commitments. The USDA added the Trump administration will continue to stand up for U.S. farmers and producers, including tackling countries' unjustified barriers to products of agricultural biotechnology. The U.S. exported $5.6 billion of corn to Mexico in 2024, which is the largest export market for U.S. corn. In the 2023 through the 2024 season, the U.S. exported a record 24.5 million tons of corn to Mexico, according to the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. Well, advanced technologies for drainage design, installation, and management will be the focus of this year's Overholt Drainage School, which will be held from March 11th through the 14th on the Ohio State University campus in Lima. The 5-day Overholt Drainage School will cover a wide range of topics, including planning, design, and installation, drainage economics, mapping, drainage law, GPS surveying, drainage design software, and the use of agricultural conservation practices to manage water quality. The program is open to anyone interested in subsurface drainage design and installation, including drainage contractors, professional engineers, district technicians, consultants, NRCS, and agency professionals. Landowners and producers who intend to install or repair drainage systems on their own can greatly benefit by learning the key principles of drainage design and installation. To learn more, you can find this full article at ohioagnet.com. Well, late last week, we saw a retreat in the cattle markets. Brian Daugherty, a senior market advisor for Total Farm Marketing by Stuart Peterson, says it appears the funds are backing off long positions in the market.
You're seeing what I think is some exit by funds. They've been strongly long the cattle when it flipped over last week, but you've had weaker cutout values as well, and they've taken a pretty good hit this week. So the combination of the two puts the market in motion. It uncovers sell stop orders, which are sales that aren't necessarily intended, but they happen when you're either exiting a long position or establishing a new short position. So you get a combination of things, and that's why sometimes the markets move really fast. It's because you've got different angles all coming together at one point.
Brian goes on to mention that he is not concerned there's going to be a whole bunch of shorts coming in the big picture perspective. Stay tuned. We'll be back with your grain analysis and your overnight markets after this.
Morton Buildings is holding their annual Building Value Days sales event, running now until the end of February. If you are looking to build, now's the time to lock in your building project and save. Join them for their open house Friday, February 21st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, February 22nd, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at one of their Ohio construction centers, Caldwell, Kenton, Wilmington, or Worcester. For more information and to find your local office, visit mortonbuildings.com. Certain restrictions may apply. This offer is available on select building styles. Contact your local construction center for more details.
Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for more information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Monday session mixed to mostly lower. The only place we actually saw any kind of decent positive move through the day was in the corn market, and there we finished about 3 to 5 higher. Soybeans were lower, well, they were choppy all day. Wheat was lower all day long, finishing anywhere from 3 to 7 lower. But the bean market was up and down, and really at the end of the day did next to nothing, unchanged on both the March and the May contracts overall. It was a very dull trading session. I think a large part of the market was waiting to see what happens on the WASDE report today. China's retaliatory tariffs are going to impact U.S. crude oil exports. That's not one you hear very often. And we did see weather enter into the discussion here a little bit. But generally, it was a dull and listless day overall. We did have a flash reported sale, 365,000 metric tons of U.S. corn to Mexico. That's why corn was green through most of the day. Soybeans and wheat were lower on a weaker export demand. Cash bids also falling off here a little bit. Any demand surprise tomorrow would likely be in the corn space if the WASDE raises the corn exports and or ethanol grind. I don't think that happens, mostly due to uncertainty on U.S. tariffs and their impact, but it is something to pay attention to. Argentina's corn and soybean production might be trimmed tomorrow. That's what the expectations are, 2 to 3 million metric tons, but Brazilian soybean production could be going up by 1 to 3 million metric tons. The idea is that's a wash, and honestly, guys, I think that Argentina, all the talk of problems there has been overstated, and they are fine. Chinese retaliatory tariffs went active yesterday in response to the U.S. 10% tariffs on all Chinese goods last Tuesday. Asian sources are seeing no movement on China's desire to talk to the Trump administration or make U.S. ag purchases as an olive branch prior to trade negotiations. China is going to Argentina for all of its nearby April and May needs right now. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Looking at your overnight markets, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. March corn $4.90.5, down a penny. December new crop corn $4.70.5, down 3/4. March soybeans $10.48.5, down a penny. November soybeans $10.56, down 1.5. July wheat $6.02 3/4, down 1 3/4. In livestock from yesterday's close, February live cattle $201.87, up $1.10. April live cattle $198.12, up $1.35. February lean hogs $87.70, up 45 cents. April lean hogs $91.62, down 52 cents. And May feeder cattle $266.32, up $2.72. This is the Ohio AgNet.